walk into a hotel room, you almost instinctively know where every single thing is and where the things you need to unpack should go. Now, contrast that with your own home. Consider the last time you walked into your own pantry, mudroom, linen closet to put something away. Did you immediately know where the thing should go? Or did you find yourself pausing for a minute trying to figure out where to put the thing? That moment of hesitation in your home is a clue. It's pointing at something specific, and once you know what it is, you can fix it. Hi, if we haven't met yet, I'm Lindsay and I'm a professional organizer. Today, I'm walking you through the second dial of my 3 clutter dial framework and 2 litmus tests to determine if you have this dialed in your own home. If you watched my last video, you already know that hotels feel calm in part because of their inventory level. That was dial 1. If you haven't watched part 1, make sure to click the card up top. But there's a second dial doing just as much work, and it's the reason you can walk into almost any hotel around the world and almost know intuitively where everything goes without thinking. That second clutter dial is systems. Systems is just a fancy way of saying, where does the item live? And how easy is it to put it there? Now, there are 2 parts to systems, and not a lot of people talk about it. So I want to give you both parts of the puzzle so that you can get your systems in check. Litmus test number 1, the home test. Look around this hotel room. Every single item has a home. Towels on the rack, remote on the table, toiletries in the bathroom. Now, naturally, in a hotel, the rooms are smaller, so there's typically only one place where a type of item would live. In a larger home, that might look different. For instance, I know people who have like a cleaning caddy downstairs and a cleaning caddy upstairs, so they don't have to lug it up and down. The point isn't that each item has one home necessarily so much as each item has a home. Now, pick an item in your house. Let's say kitchen scissors. Where do those items live? Is it sometimes in the junk drawer? Is it sometimes with your kitchen utensils? Is it sometimes at the front table because you open Amazon packages with them? If an item is floating around, that item doesn't have a clear designated home, and you need to assign it a home. Okay, are you ready for some homework? I'm going to give you an assignment. I want you to find an empty bin, box, bag, and I want you to grab a timer, and I want you to set a 5-minute timer and walk around your house. And there was one category of items that you were looking for. I want you to specifically look for items that you don't know where it goes. If you look at an item and you can't instantly think, I know where that goes, I want you to put it in the bag or the box or the bin. Whatever's in your bin at the end of those 5 minutes, those are your homeless items. And you have a very important next step. I want you to assign each item a home. And if you look at the item and you don't feel that it's valuable enough to assign a home, then get rid of it. Okay, that was a little intense. But please consider getting rid of it, because that means if you don't want to take the time or you don't think it deserves the space in your house, what is it doing? What is it doing in there? It's going to float around and it's going to look like clutter. And it's going to go from the dining table to the kitchen counter to maybe your entryway console, the basket somewhere. It's just going to float and be clutter. So please, I beg you, please take the time, assign it a home, because these things without homes are the things that end up floating around your house. And the fix isn't to go to the container store and buy fancier bins. No, please don't do that. The fix is deciding intentionally where each item should live, even the random stuff, especially the random stuff. Okay, that's the home test. Does it have a home? If it doesn't, you call it homeless, call it what it is. Assign it a home if it's worth keeping in your home, and get it out if it's not. But there's a second and equally important phase of the system's clutter dial. And failure to review this phase will result in clutter in your home. If anything I've covered so far is making you consider if the systems in your home are working, would you please consider liking and subscribing? I truly am so thankful that you're here and would be so grateful. That'll let me know that you're finding this helpful, and I've got a third and final clutter dial that I don't want you to miss. And for those of you who have recently subscribed, would you comment below? I'd really love to get to know you beyond your YouTube handle. Okay, time for the second test. Are you ready for this? I don't know if you're ready for this. Get ready for this. The second test is the friction test, and this one is so sneaky and so important. Pay attention. Listen up, class. Watch what happens when I put my towel away. It's gonna fall. It's gonna fall. Oh my goodness, it's gonna fall. Wait a second. Maybe it's not. Okay, we're good. Okay, class, ready for round 2? Watch me put my makeup away. One step in and a close to finish. Last assignment, class. We've got a pair of shoes. I need to put them away. One step, 2, and a close to finish. Oh, that was too rough. Sorry, Yoda. Okay, that was a little silly, but did you get the point of the lesson? The reason these were so easy to put away is because the organizational system, where it was stored and the way you get it to its home, was low friction. Now, think back to your home and imagine this scenario. You're in the bathroom, you're getting ready for the day, and you need your hairbrush. So you have to, 1, open a cabinet, 2, reach to the far back of the cabinet past a whole bunch of toiletries that you haven't used in the last 6 months. And as you do so, some knock over, some fall to the ground. 3, you have to go down and pick up the face cream that just fell to the floor. 4, as you put that face cream back, you have to pick up the other 12 face creams that got knocked over in the process. 5, you can just barely reach that hairbrush handle, and as you grab it, you meander it ever so slightly to get it out of the hole of the cabinet. I'm exhausted just imagining this scenario. Let's say you realize you've got a problem because every day when you're getting your hairbrush, you are knocking items over and it is hard to do. So you go buy a 3-tier spice rack so it can hold your toiletries, thinking this will fix the problem, but it doesn't. In fact, you keep buying more product and you're filling your tiered rack, and it gets so full to the point that it feels too hard to put your brush away. So you start just resorting to leaving it on the counter instead of putting it back where it goes. If this is you, please hear me. You are not lazy or incompetent. In fact, you are the opposite. You are so extremely intelligent that your brain has decided to choose the path of least resistance. It is so much easier to keep the brush on the counter than to have to fight through and spend an extra 90 seconds every day picking up bottles off the ground. You are so intelligent that your brain has subconsciously chosen to do the task that requires less effort, less friction. So going back to our scenario, your systems is failing because of 2 reasons. 1, your inventory clutter dial needs fine tuning. Those extra toiletries that you haven't used in the last 6 months, 2 years, 5 years have got to go. They're in your way. They're keeping you from getting to the things that you need on a daily basis. 2, the system style. And I want to congratulate you here because you've actually done the first part of the system style right. You've assigned your face creams a home. Woo-hoo! Well done. But you've still got a problem because remember, the system style has 2 parts. Does it have a home? And does the organizational system has too much friction? Okay, that was a lot in our fictitious example, but this is happening in so many homes right now, and not a lot of people are talking about it. A system isn't just whether an item has a home. Remember, that's the first part. Does it have a home? But the second part of a system is how does it get there? How many steps does it take to get it to its home? The more the steps it has to take, the higher the friction. If putting an item back requires more than 1 or 2, maybe 3 steps, chances are it'll never consistently go back to its home. So especially things that you use on the daily or the weekly, we want to minimize the friction by making the system so that you only have to do 1 or 2, maybe 3 steps. But this is the friction test. Can you put it away in 1, 2, maybe 3 steps? This is the goal, and it doesn't work for every scenario, but it's a great rule of thumb for things that you use on a weekly and definitely a daily basis. For stuff that you maybe use once a year, once every 6 months, it's okay if the system is a little more complicated, like pulling down the ladder, climbing into the attic, pulling a box down, taking off lids for your Christmas stuff. Like that's a lot more steps, but if you're doing it once a year, it's sometimes not that big of a deal. But we don't want to be taking 4, 5, 6 steps for stuff on our daily use. Okay, so let's go back to our fictional scenario. You tried fixing the problem by going out and buying that 3-tiered rack so you could stack all of your toiletries and see them, but it didn't fix the problem. The items are still getting knocked over and you still need to reach to the back of that shelf to get that hairbrush and that hairdryer that you use on a daily basis. What we want to focus on here is fixing the problem. So how do we fix this problem? We've got some options. 1, you can consider moving your face creams to the back of the cabinet and then bringing to the front of the cabinet the things like the hairbrush, the hairdryer that you use on a daily basis. Or maybe you consider putting all of your face creams, toiletries into a bin so that you pull out 1 bin and then you can reach back, get the hairbrush, get the blow dryer, put the bin back. It's a little bit of friction, but way less friction than knocking things over and having to fix them upright and picking them off the floor. And please hear me, I am not saying every bathroom cabinet needs to be set up this way, But what I am saying is we want to solve the friction problem. Sometimes solving the friction problem looks like purchasing organizational products, but sometimes it's as simple as just rearranging things. And at the end of the day, we want to make sure that if we're buying organizational product, it is decreasing our friction, not adding to it. Okay, so we've reviewed 2 litmus tests to check if you have organizational systems and if they're working. The home test, does it have a home? And the friction test, how much friction is your organizational system? How much friction is it to get the item into its home? But I need you to listen up. This last part is important. There is a reason that dial 2 is in between dial 1 and dial 3. Dials 2, your systems, dials 3, we'll talk about that next week, will always be easiest to fine-tune and adjust if you have fine-tuned dial 1, which is your inventory dial. Now, that being said, if you have low energy or other facets of your life that are preventing you from quickly going through your inventory and quickly adjusting that inventory dial, don't worry. This is something you can do slowly over time, and eventually you will see progress. So keep at it, my friend. But if able, you will notice the most ease with dial 2, your systems, and dial 3, we'll talk about it next week, if you can fine tune that inventory dial first. That being said, you must, and I repeat, this is imperative, you must fine tune dial 2, your systems, before you can have long-term success with dial 3, that third clutter dial. So if you haven't done it yet, I want you to go ahead and do your homework. Go ahead and pause this video. Remember to hit like if you've gotten something out of it. And I want you to get your bin or your bag or your box and set a 5-minute timer. I want you to go around and look for homeless items. And then slowly throughout the week or later today, if you've got the time, I want you to start assigning those homeless items homes. Remember, if it's not something you're willing to assign a home to, then get it out of the house. And for the items that you just feel like, I don't know, this is the perfect space to utilize what I call the safety stock box. If you're not familiar with it, make sure to check out the link in the description below. My free Simplify in 60 decluttering guide reviews how important the safety stock box is and how you can use it for these items. When you're done with all that, make sure to come back and watch part 3 where we cover the third clutter dial to help keep clutter at bay. Until then, I'm rooting for you. See you in the next one. The second text, if anything I've covered so far has stuck with you, what did I just do? I just spun in a chair.